Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Noah Kumarib Beroslan, with number matric 14 DTP 20F 1058. Today I want to tell you about laser beam machining process. What is laser beam machining? In laser beam machining, and as known as LBM, is the source of energy that a laser, an acronym for a light application by stimulated emission of radiation, which focus optical energy on the surface of the workpiece. It highly focused high density energy source melts and evaporates portion of workpiece in controlled manner. This is the figure of a laser beam machining. Next, I want to tell you about what application of laser beam machining and the types of laser beam machinings. First, we can do some cuttings with metals, plastics and the ceramics. Secondly, we can drilling for metals and plastic. Next, we can do some marking for metals, plastic and ceramics. After that, we can do surface treatment. And lastly, we can do some welding for metals and plastic. In laser beam machining, there are some advantage. Wow, the advantage is it can be focused on very small diameters. It produces a huge amounts of energy, about 100 megawatt per square mm area. Secondly, it is capable of producing a very accurately placed hole. And after that, laser beam machining have the ability to cut or engrave almost all type of materials when conventionally machining process fail to cut or engrave any material. There is no physical contact between the equipment and the workpiece. Lastly, the wear and tear in this machining process are very low and therefore requires a low maintenance cost. This machining process produce an object of high precision. And for laser beam machining, there are some advantage too. First, high initial cost. This is because it requires many accessories that important to the machining process by laser. Next, laser beam machining requires a highly trained worker to operate the machine, because the machine are very difficult to operate. Next, low production rate because it's not designed for mass production. Lastly, the machining process requires a lot of energy. It because it is not easy to produce deep cuts with that have high melting points and usually cause a cut. That's all for me. Thank you.